fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fish report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pull. When you tune in to the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. You got Craig and TK and Head that D, tune in at the fish report.
Coming to you live from Studio F in Russia, Ohio. It's the Fish Report Live Show with your hosts, Craig Fissinger and Ken Francis.
Tune in to the fish report.
Welcome, everyone, to another Fish Report Live. I'm Craig Fissinger. That's Ken Francis. Back in our sound room tonight, Heavy D has the week off, and TK is struggling with his voice a little bit. So we're going to maybe stay away from the sound room a little bit tonight, check in with TK a little bit later in the show. But Ken, you know, it's tournament time. The girls started last weekend. The boys started this weekend, and records don't matter anymore. It just matters who's hot and who's not.
Yes, it does, Craig. You know, you're looking at the girls' sectional, Craig. This Saturday, we've got the sectional finals already coming up, and it'll be interesting to see who wins out of there. You got Fort Loramie, of course. They're going to advance into the district play, and then you'll have the winner of Jackson Center Houston girls, which should be a very highly contested game. And then on the boys' side, Craig, it all tips off Friday night. Really looking forward to the action at Pickwa's Garbury Gymnasium for Ohio's premier sectional basketball tournament. And, you know, what a sectional it should be. You got some great balance in that tournament there with all the Shelby County League teams. And then you throw in some very competitive teams from Triad, Mississinawa Valley, and the Covington Buccaneers. So who knows, Craig? It'll be a lot of fun.
And we're going to talk plenty of boys and girls tournament basketball tonight with actually two special guests, aren't we?
Yes, we are, Craig. Looking forward to talking to Sydney Daily News sports writer Matt Zerker, a.k.a. Big Dog, as we call him around here, and he covers a lot of Shelby County basketball. Looking forward to what his take is on the Shelby County League this year and how he sees that sectional turning out there at Pickaway. And also, Craig, speaking to the head boys basketball coach of the Anna Rockets, Nate Barhorst. Nate is in his fifth year at the helm of the Rockets. He's got his team playing good basketball right now, and you know, they're Division III, of course, and so he's going to be seeing a lot of different teams that he's accustomed to seeing during the regular season. And he's got a very athletic team over there. I've seen them play a couple times this year, and they could do some damage in the Division III sectional.
All right, well, you also mentioned that Pickwa sectional, and speaking of that Pickwa sectional, tonight's poll question is about the Pickwa sectional.
Yes, it is, Craig. Which underdog boys basketball team do you feel has the best chance to win a Pickwa sectional title? Is it Triad, Fairlawn, Fort Loramie, or Mississinawa Valley? Which of those four teams, all excellent basketball teams, has the best chance to pull an upset and win the Pickwa sectional?
Of course, those are the 3, 4, 5, and 6 seeds in the Pickwa sectional. So it'll be interesting to see if one of those teams can pull the upset. And all right, Ken, well, let's get things started. And tonight we're going to skip our regular Five for Fighting segment. That's because we're struggling a little bit back in the sound room. But I do want to mention last week we actually talked about a local guy, Versailles alum Craig Stammen, signing a contract with the Cleveland Indians with a minor league contract with a chance to make the big club. But shortly after we aired that show, another local guy, a Marion local alum, Corey Lupke, actually signed his own contract, didn't he?
Yes, he did, Craig. It was great for the Maria Stein native Corey Lupke, Craig, to ink his name on a new contract with the Pittsburgh Pirates. He, too's moving a lot closer to home, as did Craig Stammen, and moving to Cleveland. Well, like you said, Corey's moving to Pittsburgh. He's going to be on an excellent baseball team over there. And, you know, Craig, when he was out in San Diego, he showed flashes of brilliancy out there. He could be one of the premier left-handed young arms in the league if his arm can hold up after a couple Tommy John surgeries that he's had over the last 3 years. So exciting for the Maria Stein native. Corey Lupke, best of luck to you.
Yeah, speaking of those flashes of brilliance, actually his best game as a pro was, believe it or not, in Pittsburgh. Talked to a local sports guy, Dave Ross, actually earlier this week. Told me he actually attended that game back in 2011. Had his best outing as a pro. Also did pretty well from the plate. 2 hits, scored a run. So might be just the place for him in Pittsburgh.
Absolutely, Craig. And also speaking of something that we spoke about last week, we talked about a sub 4-minute mile ran by Tri-Village star Clayton Murphy, who now runs for the University of Akron. You know, just a phenomenal feat in its own, Craig. And I'll be darned if this week another local star who we've also had on Fish Report before, Versailles alum Sam Prakel, who runs for the Dynamic Track Club at the University of Oregon, Craig, he too broke the 4-minute barrier, didn't he?
Unbelievable. Ran a 3:57.59, and I guess it should be no surprise to us. I mean, as good as he's been in high school and going to basically the premier running university in the country, should be no surprise.
Absolutely, and Rushi's got a little bit of claim to fame on helping him do that. It wasn't long ago, Craig, I seen a streak of green racing through town one day, and I thought, what in the world, and who is that? Well, as I caught up to him, not running, of course, I was in a vehicle, but it was Sam, and boy, I'll tell you what, he was hitting it hard.
Yeah, I've seen him around here too. So, we're rooting for all those guys, for Corey, Sam, and of course, Craig, we mentioned. But good stuff from a couple guys that used to live in the area.
Absolutely.
All right, Ken, well, let's get things started and talk some tournament basketball. And this next guest of ours has been a friend of ours for a long time. Actually came on our program back when we first started 5 years ago. Like to get him on every season. He is sports writer and does a few other things in his time too. But Matt Zerker, like you said, a.k.a. we call him Big Dog. Happy to have him live on the phone right now. Matt, welcome to Fish Report Live, and thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me.
All right. Well, listen, like I said, I know you're a sports writer, but I know you also have a job with at the Wright State University Athletic Department. So are you following the Wright State girls basketball team tonight? Are you in the area? Where are you at?
Actually, I just got done covering a couple of games over at Sydney High School. Unfortunately, they weren't very exciting, as Lormy won 71-20. Botkins won over Fairlawn 65-29. Audrey Francis got hurt early in the second quarter, and that was pretty much the ball game.
Wow. Well, we're glad you're there, because that's exactly what we want to talk about tonight. And I'll start out with the girls. You watch those Fort Laramie girls tonight, and they've been to the state tournament, I believe, 5 out of the last 6 years. What are they as good a team this year, Matt, as what they were years past?
I think so. I mean, they have the 4 losses like they did last year at this time going into the tournament. They lost last year to Tip, Anna, Marion, and then Lima Bath won state. And this year they lost to Bath, Anna, Summit Country Day, and Minster. Summit Country Day is 20-3. They're very good. Of course, everybody knows about Minster, Anna, and Lima Bath. So they looked a little sluggish at times tonight, but it's hard to stay focused the whole time when you're up 50 against Mississinawa.
All right. Well, I agree with you. I think they look like a very good team this year, and here at Fish Report, we're picking them to march right through, probably into that regional tournament where they have the potential to run into a couple tough squads, maybe in the regional semis. They could run into Minster, a team that's beat them earlier this year, and then they also have the potential, if they get past them, to run into maybe a Tri-Village they haven't played, I don't think, during the regular season, but a very good team there. What are your thoughts on them running into Minster? Can they beat a team like that, a team that's beat them earlier this season?
Oh, I definitely think so. They lost that game at Minster by 1 point, so obviously on a neutral court, you never know how things will go. And there's been a lot of great battles between Lormy and Minster, and I would imagine if that ends up being the regional semifinal, and it'd be quite an upset if it wasn't. I would think Lormy has a good chance as any.
All right. Well, give me a percentage. Big Dog, tell me what's your percentage of? Give me the odds of Lormy or Minster. Which one's making it to state?
Well, I mean, if it's either one combined, I would almost say probably 80-90%. I think those are definitely by far the 2 best teams in this region, and they've shown it all year long. Like I said, that's going to come down to whoever wins that game if they both get to the regional semifinals. I mean, Tri-Village has had a good year, but they've lost to 3 MAC schools, and they've kind of struggled here the second half of the year. And I just think those 2 schools, Lormy and Minster, have so much tournament experience. I think that'll definitely factor in for them.
Craig, if you had asked me that question, I know you didn't, but Matt, just to not to step in here, but I'd say 95% chance one of them two teams make it to state. I know that's a lot, but I don't know who's going to beat them. One of them two teams is going to state.
And Big Dog, I don't know what you know about the Division III tournament, but of course the Anna Lady Rockets. We're going to be talking about the boys team here a little bit later in the show with Anna coach Nate Barhorst. But that girls team looking very good this year, and with Doug Martin over there, ranked number 5th right now in Division III. Any thoughts of them maybe making it to Columbus as well?
I would think their chances are obviously really good too. It doesn't seem like you haven't heard as much from the Cincinnati team sound that way as much. So, yeah, they might have to worry about even a team like Versailles. I mean, Versailles seems like a tournament time they turn it on. It might be somebody like them they have to worry about.
Big Dog, let's turn the table a little bit here now and talk about the boys basketball tournament, specifically the Kettering Regional. And we're going to start off with the Piqua Sectional, though. It tips off this Friday. You've got the upper bracket, the number 2 seed overall, the top seed in the upper bracket is the Russia Raiders. What do you like about this team? I mean, you look at them, Big Dog, and they're 19-3. They won the competitive Shelby County League with a 10-2 record. They're ranked number 6 in Ohio. What makes this team click?
Well, I know one of the things that obviously their defense definitely makes them click. I know they had that game against Botkins. They were putting on a defensive display there at home, and it seems like it's a different guy on every night. They had 5 or 6 guys that reached double figures in either one of the games this past weekend, and there's usually 8 or 9 guys that score in double figure or score every night, and that's hard to defend in a Division IV tournament. Usually, most teams have maybe 2 or 3 guys. Russia can go 7, 8 deep.
Right, I agree with you there. 2 teams, that are entering the sectional over at Piqua on a nice winning streak: the Fort Laramie Redskins, the Mississinawa Valley Blackhawks. It looks like those teams are set to very possibly meet in the semifinals of that upper bracket. What are your thoughts on those 2 teams, and are they going to give Russia a battle for the sectional championship?
Well, if it's Laramie, it will be a battle. I mean, the first 2 games this year, both of them were really close. I mean, Russia was able to pull out both of those. And the way Laramie's been playing the last couple of weeks, taking on Tri-Village, they beat Marion handily. They beat Anna. They always say it's tough to beat a team 3 times in a season, and Russia might have to do that if they want to go to districts.
I agree with you. The Redskins are playing very well, and take nothing away from Mississinawa Valley. I have not seen them play, but I've heard some very good things about them. I know they're very well coached over there as well. And so, those 2, the winner of that game, I can see the Raiders getting out to the sectional finals for sure. And, like you said, that'll be a big fight there for the sectional championship. Let's talk a little bit about the lower bracket. Jackson Center, the number 1 seed overall in that lower bracket, but Big Dog, you gotta agree with me. There's some good teams down there, isn't there?
Oh, definitely. You've got Triad that's 16-6, and you've got Fairlawn that's 15-7. A Fairlawn team, they're 15-7, but they could have 18, 19 wins. They lost 2 double overtime games to Russia and Jackson Center. They lost by 2 points after having the lead against Triad in the opening weekend of the season, and then they split against Laramie and they split against Anna. So if a few breaks would have went their way, you're talking about a potential 18, 19 win team.
Mm-hmm.
Big Dog, I want to ask, I'm going to put you on the spot here. If you had to pick a sleeper team, this kind of goes with tonight's poll question. We asked if there was an underdog to come out of the Piqua Sectional, who would it be? Would it be Triad? Would it be Fairlawn? Would it be Fort Laramie? Would it be Mississinawa? If I put you on a spot here and told you one of those teams is going to pull the upset and come out of the Piqua Sectional, who you picking?
Wow, that's a tough call. I mean, it's probably either Laramie or, it just all depends on what Laramie shows up. Is it going to be the Laramie that beat Marion at home by 20-something, or is it going to be the Laramie that we saw the first part of the year that struggled on offense? And the Fairlawn's playing very well right now. They beat Miami East this past weekend. They could get on a roll. Mm-hmm. I would say it would probably be either one of those two teams.
All right. Well, you didn't make too many people mad with that question, but I do have one more thing for you. And, the girls, all SCL teams came out last weekend. Of course, Fort Laramie senior Jessica Berger repeated as Player of the Year. The boys' selections, I believe, will come out this weekend. If you had to pick a Player of the Year, do you go the traditional route, or is it customary to pick a player off the league winner, Russia Raiders, or can you go down to a Jackson Center or Anna or Fairlawn and pick your Player of the Year?
Yeah, that's definitely a tough call. Like you said, usually the Player of the Year comes from the league champion. But I don't know if Russia has that one standout guy this year. It's like I said, every game it's been somebody different. It's either been David York or Cole Tebby or Jack Dapor, that sort of thing. But then you got a guy like Lessing at Fairlawn that's got 622 points this year, but they were 6-6 in the league. Will people hold that 6-6 against him? And then there's like Sosby and there's Wildermuth at Jackson Center. And there's guys like you said from Anna, and it's going to be a tough call this year.
I couldn't agree with you more. And you mentioned Nathan Lessing. There was a guy that I think had almost 11 30-point games in the regular season, which is, there wasn't a one of those over here in Russia, and I would venture to say there wasn't too many of them in the county at all. He had 11 of them this year.
Yeah, like you said, the majority of those came non-league, Craig, and he's a great player though, taking nothing away from Nathan Lessing over there at Fairlawn. There's good players in Jackson Center, Anna, Russia, Fort Laramie. They've all got nice players, but I think when it all boils down to it, these coaches are all going to look at it and say, okay, if I was picking a team from all of these players, who would my number one pick be? And I think, and I'm not saying who that answer is, but I think that's the way these coaches probably look at this and say, okay, we're playing open gym. I got number one pick. Who am I taking?
Good way to look at it. So, all right, Big Dog. Well, listen, we'll let you go. Appreciate you coming on the show. Hey, one more question. I don't know if you can answer this or not, but we were talking before the show. The Sydney paper used to always have the basketball stats. Boys and girls come out, I don't know what it was, about mid-season, three-quarter of the way through the season. None of that this year. I was always enjoyed reading those. Any idea why that's not being printed this year?
Well, I know there's been some changes with the early deadlines being at 10 o'clock, usually during the week and everything. So I know there's been a lot of cutbacks and a lot of changes, so I'm sure that's probably part of it.
Had something to do with it. All right. Well, Big Dog, listen, thanks for coming on the show tonight. Look forward to seeing you maybe there in Piqua or at some of the girls' tournament games, and hope to see you soon.
All right. Sounds great.
All right. That was our old friend Big Dog. Like I said, Ken, we've been talking to him for the last 5 seasons, haven't we?
Yeah, we have, Craig. Fun guy to talk to, and look forward to seeing him down the tournament trail.
All right, well, that's going to do it for the first half of our show. We're going to take a short break, but stay right there because when we come back, we're going to talk about the Anna boys basketball program, including that interview with Coach Nate Barhorst.
Open stage at the Leaving Van. Music starts at 8 o'clock. You can find us here every Wednesday night. It's usually the same cats every week, but I can't tell you all their names. A cat and a junkie, all waiting for time to play. Everybody here's got something that we're trying to leave behind. We're all a little broken, looking for a place to ask any questions. We're all here just looking for a high. And we're all beautifully broken here tonight.
Welcome back to the second half of Fish Report Live. And before the break, we were talking some Division IV girls, Division IV boys basketball. Going to talk some Division III now. And Ken, let's check out that Division III bracket. Some of the local teams. Take a look at the upper bracket and see what's going on up there at the Dayton 1 section.
Yeah, Craig, in Division III boys, you've got Versailles. They came in as the number 3 seed in the super sectional that they have over there. You know, they've got 20-some teams over in that sectional. So you got Miami East down in the lower bracket of that Dayton 1 sectional. So look for Versailles, I would say, to get to the finals there. Miami East actually has not been playing that well lately, and but not sure what Brookville's got, but look for the Tigers to get through that Dayton 1.
All right, and let's check out the Dayton 2 sectional. What do we got there, Ken?
Dayton 2, Craig, you got on the top half of the bracket, you got the number 1 seed Northridge, and coming out of the bottom bracket, you got the Anna Rockets. I like Anna advancing out to the finals there, and I like their chances against Northridge. I know those two teams, they probably don't see each other a whole lot. They don't play familiar teams and all, but I guarantee you the strength of schedule that Anna plays is as tough as anybody's in that Division III bracket.
All right, Ken. Well, one big reason for Anna's success this year, of course, has been their head coach, Nate Barhorst. We're happy to have him live on the phone right now. Coach Barhorst, welcome to Fish Report Live, and thanks for joining us.
Great, Ken. It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Well, listen, first of all, congrats on a great weekend last Friday and Saturday. You ended the regular season with wins over Jackson Center and Covington. Of course, us Rushy folks were watching the scoreboard there on Friday night in that Jackson Center game. That makes you 4-0 for the month of February. And with that streak, I wanted to know, Coach, do you feel like the Rockets have a little momentum heading into the tournament this Saturday?
You know what? It does feel like we have more momentum. You know, it definitely helps going 4-0 with our last 4 games. You know, we kind of talked to the team after the Army game. We weren't really pleased with our effort defensively, and I thought, this past weekend especially, we really got after defensively against the teams that we were up against. You know, we didn't start out the way we wanted to on Friday night against Jackson, getting down 11-0, and then didn't hit our first point until it was a bank free throw in. And after that happened, you kind of knew, okay, something's funky. Something funky's happening tonight. And so, our defense was one of the key components that definitely kept us in that game, and then eventually we were able to overtake Jackson to get the win. And of course, we carried that over into Saturday night against Covington, pretty much, setting the tone right from the get-go and taking a lead and going into the halftime with a 15-point cushion with that game as well. So very, very pleased with our defensive effort, and hopefully that carries over into the tournament.
All right, well, one great thing about playing in the Shelby County League, Coach, is you're getting a good challenge every night. But on the flip side is you're a Division III school, and everyone else in the league is Division IV. Looking at your schedule since the first of the year, you've only played one Division III team during that time, and that was Greenview a couple weeks ago. Does that concern you heading into the Division III tournament this Saturday?
It doesn't concern us as much as you would probably think because, like you just said, playing in the SBL, playing the non-conference schedule that we do, which Ken had alluded to before about playing a very, tough non-conference schedule along with the SBL. I think that really has prepared us just as much as it's prepared anybody playing other D3 or D2 schools down in the southern region where there's a lot of those teams are going to end up playing in the tournament. So I really do believe that, playing in our league and playing the rest of our schedule helps to prepare us for the tournament and helps us to knock, like we have in the past, knock off some of those upper seeded teams in the brackets that we choose upon. So, we're very, very fortunate to be, where we're at here in the league, and as well as the schedule we have to prepare us.
Coach, hi, this is Ken. And let's talk about a little bit of the talent on your team. Last Saturday night, you were led by Kane Luthman. He had another double-double for you, 18 points, 11 rebounds. I saw Kane play twice this year against the Russia Raiders. Specifically, let's talk about the second game at Anna in January. He single-handedly dominated the game. He had 20 points, 12 rebounds. He shows just outstanding athleticism on the court. I mean, he's a high flyer. He can rebound. He can shoot. Tell us a little bit about Kane and how he's so special to your success.
Well, Kane, just like you said, Ken, Kane is the catalyst to our team. When he's having efforts like that in games against Rushi and games against Jackson, the 2 times that we beat him, I mean, we are a tough team to beat, and he's the main reason for that. When he's putting efforts like that on the court, and then we're getting efforts from everybody else surrounding him too. But you know, he's that wild card guy for us, and when he's running all cylinders, I tell you what, the team just kind of runs off of that as well. And he is a special player. I mean, there's plays out there where he goes out and makes that you're flabbergasted as a coach, like, wow, I wish I had those kind of athletic skills. Or he'll have a breakaway steal, you know, for a dunk. I mean, sometimes in practice, some of the things that he's doing with just the 360 dunks that he has, you're like, gosh, I wish I could, you know, just have the chance to be able to do that sometimes. So he's a special kid, and you know, the one thing that we're actually seeing from him more than anything right now is he's just completely engaged in the games, not just offensively but defensively too. I mean, he can just take over the boards, and that's where we're really starting, you know, see the separation from other teams is from, you know, plays like that and players like that. So, yeah, he is a special kid.
Another outstanding player for you this year, Blake Stevens. You know, Blake's had some great games for you, and I don't mean to pick on Blake here a little bit, but he seems to be inconsistent. You know, one game he'll have 18, and the next game he'll have 4. How important is this consistency for Blake? What are you trying to do to get consistent play out of him for this a good postseason run?
Yeah, I think Blake's the benefactor of, you know, getting things out of the offense when maybe other teams are keying in on kids like Jules Camp and Luthman. When he gets on a roll, he's pretty tough to stop as well. You know, he's streaky from outside. He hits his first one, watch out, he may hit the next 4 in a row. You know, but he's also a kind of kid that's good on the drive, penetrate. Sometimes when he goes up for a shot, it looks unorthodox, but he finds a way to kind of finagle the ball to go in the hoop. He's just really, you know, sly with the way he's able to get in there and attack, and he's pretty good off the attack too. And he's one of our better defensive players. You know, the one thing that has been a pleasant surprise is, you know, his offensive play, because he's always been that kid that we put on, you know, opposing team's best offensive player to get stops. And now he's to the point where he's not only doing that, but he's also, you know, coming up big for us because he is our leading scorer. And like you said, yeah, we'd like to, you know, have him more consistent, but maybe some of the inconsistency is because of other players on the team stepping up, like Hughes Camp, Luthman, and, you know, another kid is Frilling stepping up too in big ways too. So, you know, he's a kid that, yeah, we rely upon, but at the same time, if he's not getting those points and we're getting more balanced scoring, that's better for us too.
Coach, like you said, you're loaded with athletes with Hills Camp and Frilling and Stevens and Luthman, and you know these kids all gel together. You know, we've said it before, we've said it all year actually on this show. You know, the Rockets can be a very dangerous team down the stretch here, and you're playing very well right now. And you're going to take on a Northwestern team that you know, from down there on the Springfield area. Us people up here in Shelby County don't know a whole lot about them, but I'm sure Coach Nate Barhorst does. What's the Rockets going to have to do to get by Northwestern in your opening round?
Well, Ken, we just saw him the other night play Mechanicsburg. As a matter of fact, Larmy was there the same night, you know, scouting up Mechanicsburg too, because they got them in the first round. So, anyways, watching Northwestern, they have a couple bigs. They're definitely a big man oriented team. Where they really look to pound the ball inside. Their bigs do a pretty good job of sealing underneath and getting the ball down low. And the one thing that maybe is a liability for them is maybe their guard play. I think one thing that we need to probably do is make sure that we pressure the ball out front, probably for 84 feet, and make them make some tougher decisions. I don't know if they've been pressured as much as they should have been throughout the season. I didn't see much pressure from Mechanicsburg, so we're definitely going to up the ante on the pressure and make some tougher decisions out there. The other thing that they like to do is get the ball out in transition a little bit. So we're going to have to definitely get our butts back and D up a little bit. And I think if we're able to penetrate the gaps and get inside, is going to only help out our cause. So.
All right, Coach, listen, hey, that's great stuff. We're out of time, so we're going to let you go. I do want to say thanks for coming on the show tonight. Best of luck in tournament, and we'll be rooting for you over here in Russia.
All right, sounds great, fellas. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, that was the head coach of the Anna Rockets, Nate Barhorst. And Ken, he's 15-7 right now is his record. That's actually the most regular season wins he's had in his 5 years at the head of that program. So they're playing as well now as they've been during his whole time there.
Absolutely. Like we said, they got a lot of athletes over there. They play hard. They play above the rim a lot at times. And, they're a fun team to watch play.
All right. Well, listen, let's haven't checked in with our sound room yet. Like I said, we're a little light back there this week, but I want to check in with TK. I think he's got a little bit of a voice left. TK, how's it going back there?
I'm managing all by myself and with half a voice, but I don't think I've goofed up too much yet.
I think he's struggling. His voice. I'm not hardly hearing anything back there, TK. Either you have your voice, your mic off, or your voice is gone.
Maybe it's a little bit of both.
Oh, there we got you now.
I'm going up a little bit. How's that?
There you go.
Listen, I do want to mention one thing. Ken at the beginning of the show was talking about the Versailles Tigers and what alum Sam Prakel has done over there. Did see today on Twitter that they actually have a new volleyball coach over there now, don't they?
Yes, they picked up, actually not picked up, but I guess you could call it a promotion. They took their assistant volleyball coach from last year, Kinsey Brugman. She comes out of St. Henry, a stellar career at St. Henry, a couple times All-MAC volleyball player over there at St. Henry last year, assistant coach at Versailles, and now the head coach at Versailles. So congratulations to Coach Brugman over there, and we'll see what she can do with the Lady Tiger volleyball team.
I'm sure we'll probably be talking to her next fall, I imagine.
We probably will, and she'll have a lot of athletes, I'm sure, and a lot to work with over there at the Versailles volleyball program.
All right, well, TK, hang in there because we got one more thing to get to, and that is tonight's poll question. I'm going to have Ken read it to the viewers again, and we'll ask you to check on the results for us.
The poll question is, which underdog boys basketball team has the best chance to win a Piqua sectional crown? Is it Triad, Fairlawn, Fort Loramie, or Mississinawa Valley? Which of those 4 solid basketball teams could pull off an upset and win the sectional?
So tonight, 86% of the voters are saying Fairlawn.
Fairlawn.
They're your underdog.
They're a good basketball team. There's no doubt about that. And, of course, they're led by the high-scoring Nathan Lessing, and they're an exciting team to watch. Of course, they'll have to get by a very good Jackson Center team, though, over there, and also a Triad team to get out.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to watch. Can't wait to get to Friday, Ken.
Absolutely.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us tonight. I do want to say special thanks to our guests, Matt Zerker and Nate Barhorst, for coming on the show tonight. Ken and I and the full crew will hopefully all be back again next week. Same time, same place. Until then, have a great rest of the week, everyone, and good night.
Hanging at the fishing pond, hanging at the fishing pond, hanging at the fishing pond, hanging at the fishing pond. For your latest news and high school sports, tune in to the fishing pond. Don't need no bed, don't need no pole when you tune in to the fishing pond, hanging at the fishing pond.